Good evening. I'm Brian Reagan, and this is
Tyler Kelly.
And tonight we're coming to you from Hebrews chapter 11, verses 27 through 29 for our Twilight Talk on Faith.
By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. By faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he who destroyed the firstborn should touch them. By faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, whereas the Egyptians, attempting to do so, were drowned.
Okay. He endured as seeing him who is invisible. You say, well, but brother, Moses got to see God. Well, no, Moses got to see the smallest part of the leastest part of the backside of God's glory after God put him in the cleft of the rock and then shielded him from himself. But before he ever got to that point, you say, well, he had a burning bush. But a burning bush fades. When you're knee deep in 3 million people who want to kill you and your family, burning bushes don't cut it. But holding the image of the invisible God in your mind, holding that clarity of thought and faith in believing in the one who is not seen. And you say, well, he saw him. No, he saw powerful manifestations of him. Yeah, he saw the backside of the glory after he was shielded. But you realize that other than the burning bush and other than whatever happened on the 40 days, both times that Moses was up there on the mountain, everyone else saw the same stuff. They saw the flies, they saw the hail, they saw the darkness, you say they didn't see the dark. No, they saw it. Because it was this huge wall of thick darkness all the way around the land of Goshen. I promise you, they heard the wailing and the moaning and the weeping and the crying on the death of the firstborn. Point is, they saw the hand of God just like Moses. Moses endured because he kept that image of faith. Everyone over 20 years old, with the exception of Joshua and Caleb and their families, they all died because they didn't endure as seeing him who is invisible. You have some thoughts on this, Tyler?
No, sir.
And so if you say to me, you say, well, Brother Brian, if I just had a bunch of signs and wonders, I'd do better.
About to say, Israel goes how many years with all the signs basically smack dab in their face, and
Israel has 40 years of miracles every day visible to everyone.
There's the cloud, there's the fire, there's manna, there's everything else under the sun. And nope.
There's all their clothes not wearing out for 40 years. Years ago, back when I first got out of the military, Tyler, I didn't have a vehicle because frankly I didn't want one. And I lived somewhere where I could either walk everywhere or catch a bus. And you know how long it takes to wear a pair of cowboy boots down till they literally fall apart?
I never wore cowboy boots, so I don't know. Go for it.
When I finally went in and had new heels put on, 60% of the heel was gone. And the dude looked at me, he's like, how do you even walk? And I said, very carefully. He had to re-sole them and re-heel them. I got one more year out of them, but 2 years of walking every day is what it took for one pair of boots. He said, what happened second year? You couldn't repair them then. 40 years of walking, and no one ever had to replace a pair of sandals. He said, no, to me that's a bigger miracle than the manna, the cloud, and no. But that's the point. They had 40 years of nonstop miracles, and they did not and would not believe. And so faith is the ability to see him in your mind's eye, in your spirit, that is invisible, and hold that as the guiding purpose of your life. And Moses did. So We bid you good night. Lord willing, we'll see you in the morning for Mornings with Brian and Tyler. Until then.